Hello, I'm Bert Oliver, and welcome to Bowie News and Views. And my co-host, John Rouse, will introduce our guest for the day, Mr. Rouse.
Thank you, Mr. Oliver. It's always a pleasure to welcome G. Fred Robinson.
The Bert and Ernie show.
Yeah, be careful. The esteemed mayor of this large municipality.
Esteemed is right.
Who has all sorts of fans.
Fans?
People who throw things at him.
Actually,
go after him with a bat.
Yeah, well, we have a couple, but by and large, that's people here on the TV show.
I might note that you and I almost crossed paths in Scotland.
Yeah. Apparently, you arrived the day or so after I left.
I arrived on the first.
It's a great trip. I really do. Yeah. Like I told you before the show, I said if I had it to do over again, I'd have spent more time in Edinburgh. It's a beautiful city.
Great city.
It's a great city to walk in.
Oh, it's made for walking.
And the thing is that if you're a public transportation guy, you stand on the corner and every 30 seconds there's a bus that goes by to take you to points wherever you want to go.
Public transport is and you get one of these day passes.
Yeah, for like
for $5, the equivalent of $5.
You go all day.
All day long.
Yeah, it's great.
Boy, did I eat a lot of oysters.
Well, I do have some limits. I don't eat oysters, but it was a great place. I thoroughly enjoyed it, and like we were talking earlier about the Edinburgh Castle, it's an incredible facility, and I could have spent a couple of days. Yeah, well, you were just a youngster when you were building it.
I was just a child.
Did you really help build that castle?
Parts of it.
Parts of it, okay.
Yeah. You're not on here to insult me, you know. Well, remember, I'm back in the journalism business.
Oh, okay. All right.
Bowie Patch.
Bowie Patch. BowiePatch.com?
Yeah, Bowie.patch.com.
Okay, so there's
and
extra
it's up by the time the show airs.
Okay.
So be careful.
Okay.
And Rouse's Point is now again in print.
So I guess I'm supposed to be on my best behavior.
You better be. Well, it used to be a great target.
Yeah, hey, why not?
I imagine that might still happen.
Yeah.
But I also did a story in the paper on the results and of the, or not really the results per se, but the perception of what we might get out of this.
The election?
The election. Your comments will be up tomorrow.
Oh,
but I would like you to tell our viewers, you're optimistic, or fairly optimistic?
Maybe guardedly optimistic, but I am optimistic. I had occasion to spend some time with Mr. Baker during the campaign and ultimately came onto the Baker team because after I talked to a variety of people, I became pretty convinced that, Baker was the best choice for the county and probably.
Well, you can't support a guy who shoots dogs.
Well, I try to look at things on, a positive thing. And when I'd sit down with him and, I have our historical things. I'd like to see some changes in the Planning Commission, like to see the city having more say over land use decisions. And when I sat down with him, it was like he came forward. He had done his homework. And part of the conversation started with, look, I know the history between the Planning Commission and the city, and I believe you're absolutely right. The city should have more of a role in this. And if I'm elected county executive, you're going to have that kind of a role. And I said, well, gee, hopefully, when the next time move the commission or restructure the commission, I think it'd be nice to have somebody from Bowie.
Oh, I agree.
For a while, sitting on that commission.
Maybe we'll put Bert on it.
Yeah, it used to be that way. Well, I was considered even in Paris once when they put Wooten on, the coach. But they did try to balance it out more in community those days rather than just politics.
And the other thing that struck me when I talked to him, we have a shared interest or shared recognition of the challenges in the county fire service.
Oh, yeah.
And he made some serious commitments. And these are not without significant costs. So when he takes office, he's got some really tough decisions to make.
Oh, he sure does.
It's not necessarily, in my mind.
He's got to clean up some of the excesses.
Yeah. Well, see, part of these problems, people say it's either a policy decision or a dollars decision. I think these things are basically policy decisions because, where you put your dollars reflects what you think the priorities are.
Speaking of dollars, didn't you love Jack Johnson, the thankfully departing county executive who has ignored Bowie for his full 8 years? Giving his county employees, $12 million in raises.
I just saw that because I was away for the weekend. I didn't see the paper, but
unbelievable.
Well, of course, I don't know what the issue is in terms of the substance of the issue, but the timing of it.
The timing's awful. He's leaving in a couple of months.
Yeah, it's always interesting when you want to give a present to the guy that's taking your place.
Well, they shouldn't be questioned, particularly because the last few months they've had furloughs, the last
Yeah.
and all of a sudden we did a furlough to avoid this, and you had money somewhere?
Yeah, hidden away.
That's the big question I would ask is where was
where's
this
the money?
money?
Yeah, where was this money hiding?
The question you have
Well,
to
our
ask is,
county council member goes wandering around the city handing out little grants that she has in some sort of slush fund.
one of the things, and I did mention this to Mr. Baker, I said, one of the things that troubles me is holdover to years past that I think is blatantly a corrupt practice, where the county council votes themselves almost $100,000 per person,
Yeah.
which is basically what we would call walk-around money.
Yeah.
It's money that they give away to groups or organizations solely at their discretion.
I know.
No review, whatever. So that's $1 million there, and then it's my understanding the county executive has a like amount available for grants and whatever. So that's a couple of $1 million. That's classroom professionals.
That's a lot of money.
Firefighters, that's cops.
And they should not be giving this money to
No.
churches,
No.
of all things.
Well, if you really want to stir something up, and when you get some of your other public officials here, I like to ask questions like, why do county council people have a pension?
Yeah.
Why do state representatives have a pension? There's an incredible fund there.
Oh, I know it.
This is one thing I think they could really pick up some things from the municipalities. In Bowie, the council people get a salary for what they do, and we pay a Social Security commitment, but they're not part of the city's health insurance. They're not part of the retirement.
No.
They can defer income and those kinds of things. But,
They shouldn't be.
Unless
and
it's-
that's the way I think it should be at the county and the
Absolutely.
state.
Yeah.
Well, unless it's changed, there was a rule that was during the Glendinning administration. And
During
they
the
put
who
it-
administration?
Glendinning. Paris Glendining's county executive administration. And they had the pension fund in a program, and the conditions of whether you receive that payoff at 62 years, at 65 years of age, if you left the county voluntarily, you had to wait till 62 to receive it. If you left the county for any other reason, like term limitations,
Yeah.
and that group of council people then were eligible at that time
Yeah.
for retirement the day they left there. For their
Well,
retirement that ordinarily they have to wait to 65. Now,
I just have a personal aversion to doing that.
Well, this is
I
where
agree with you.
pensions and things are for worker bees, and that should be part of their compensation. Of course, I may be the voice of the wilderness that says sooner or later government's going to get out of the pension business altogether.
Oh, they probably
they've
will.
got to.
But that county council does not deserve getting
No.
a pension when they're only supposed to serve 2 terms anyway.
Right. I think
It's obscene. It's absolutely obscene.
It is. It's one of those old hangover things that we've always done it this way.
Yeah, I know.
Now we've got a great opportunity. You got a new council coming in. You got a new executive coming in.
Yeah, but Marilyn Bland's still there. What is she now?
She's the clerk of the court. So that's
Oh, okay.
yeah. She's
I've never said anything like her.
yeah.
False credit card usages and she keeps going on and on and
Well,
on.
that's another question. People tease me. I have one key. One public, and that's to open the mayor's office.
Yeah.
I don't have a key to the building. I don't have a city credit card. I don't drive a city car. I said, and I think the elected role is defined. We set the policies, the priorities, the budget,
Yeah.
and whatever, and then you appoint people to conduct that business, and you leave them alone.
Yeah.
Evaluate their performance based on what you expect out of them, but that's what you hire the professional people to do.
Well,
Exactly.
remind me, if you will, how many new county council people did we get with this?
I think there's 5 new council people, at the
Okay.
county.
Yeah.
Four stayed on, and the 5 new ones,
5 new ones.
plus a new
That's good.
county executive. So it's not going to be an insignificant change.
Yeah.
And like I say, the opportunity is there for us to, to try to reach out for some people. Our council member is going to stay there, but the one in District 6 has changed. So,
Were you
that's,
surprised Dawn ran against her?
yeah, part
I mean,
of me
she doesn't
was
do
very-
that great a job.
Yeah, I would have. I think that it would have been nice to have some challenge there, but
Yeah.
Sure.
it is what it is.
Right,
You know,
yeah,
when I,
yeah.
the one thing I've learned in this business is just that it is what it is.
We had everyone and his uncle running in for the House delegation.
Well,
Well, mostly aunts.
yeah, but yeah, like I say, getting back to Mr. Baker, I'm
Yeah.
optimistic that based on what he said to me during the course of the
That's good.
conversation, I'm cautiously optimistic. I think he's got a good handle cleaning up the hospital situation, on public safety, and on education as priorities. And if he holds to that, and he can get those things under control, I think the county will in fact move forward. And if the county moves forward, Bowie goes forward.
Sure.
Now, the other thing he said that was, I don't know whether that was for our consumption or not, but I think he was right to do it. He said, Bowie is an incredible template for the county to use. He says, look at the successes of Bowie.
Yeah.
Bowie's managed itself well, given the economic constraints that we've dealt with. But I mean, if you look at it, we got all our bills paid, and we got some money in the bank.
City's in better shape than the county.
Well, yeah, I think you said we're one of 2 cities in the entire state that has a AAA bond rating. We have a substantial pay-go policy that predates me. So this goes back to Charlie Moore and those days, that started a plan that we pay in advance for things that we know we do, and we've expanded that over the years. But it is an incredible way to keep your budget going like this instead of like the counties in the state that does it.
Yeah.
I think for him to recognize that, the county can benefit by looking at the way, say, Bowie manages funds and the way it interacts with the community and the other levels of government.
Sure.
So if the conversations that occurred during the campaign result in some kind of a conspicuous, positive public course of action, then I will be very pleased.
Well, so will we.
I think it'd be nice. Plus, Bruce Schoenbaker was born in Georgia.
In where?
Georgia.
Oh.
Georgia. I was trying to do a Scott accent on Georgia.
Yeah, that's just J-A-W, right?
Georgia.
Yeah. I tell people,
Valdosta, Georgia.
one of the first times I met Mr. Baker was when he was a state delegate. And I tell people I was really impressed because he had taken a dysfunctional county group and convinced them that if they went into a room and hassled out all their agreements and disagreements and then came out of that with a set of priorities and went forward, the county moved forward instead of fighting for crumbs with other things. And he was very successful at that.
Yeah, he was.
But I told him that one of the things that I was impressed by, when I went into his office one day, he had a picture of his dad on the wall. And his dad served in the same unit I did in the Army. And, it's little things like that that tell me more about the man sitting behind the desk,
that's right.
than it's, because those, to me, anybody that honors their parents or whatever, I think,
agree with you.
speaks well for them. And ever since that, I've had a lot of respect for the man. I think he's thoughtful.
Oh, we've had him on the show, and I think both of us.
He's a thoughtful guy.
Very much.
I think he's an honest guy,
and he's intelligent.
Yeah, he's a very bright guy.
He's a very bright guy.
Notwithstanding that he came from Georgia.
Yeah, that will be a nice change in the county executive's office.
Well, we've had some bright people there. Sometimes being bright and being able to convert that into something is a
I think
challenge.
you're right. I think we are in for, I think the Washington Post did it better as well as they've ever done anything. When they also pointed out a couple other changes. State Senator was bothered me, Valerio. He's gone now, and the Washington Post mentioned that. But they got behind Baker, and they had some superlative things to say about it.
Strong. Who's that other idiot that's gone that used to be nothing but trouble down in Annapolis?
Oh, you mean the 2 senators lost, Exum and Harrington.
Exum, Exum.
That was a surprise for me. I mean, Exum has been, an icon.
That's surprising.
Yeah, but a bad news icon.
He's never been helpful for us. Every time I go to Annapolis for an issue, I can count on a no vote from there.
Yeah.
And Joanne Benson, who's currently a state delegate, decided to run for that seat this year, and although I think she will improve that.
Anything
now.
would improve it.
I tell you, I don't think anybody assumed at the beginning of that she was going to be able to knock off this guy.
No, they did not.
Not at all.